Morning. This is yet another tutorial, and this one is going to be on the new category that has come about specifically because of NSO. This is low percent. I'm going to be going through the beginner version of the route. There are harder tricks that you can incorporate in order to save, I don't know, like probably 3 to 4 minutes of time here. Maybe more than that, but somewhere around there. We'll say 4-ish minutes. I think that's pretty reasonable. But I won't be walking through all of those because it would require some pretty heavy execution, and frankly, there is no guarantee that I even get them in one shot like this. So I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go there. However, let's talk about this run. This run is technically an any percent, as all runs technically are any percent, because all that any percent is beat the game. In this run in particular, we will be getting absolutely nothing as far as major collectibles go. We will not be getting any keys, any golden bananas, medals, crowns, fairies, yada yada. None of that stuff. We will be fighting one boss. Technically 5 bosses, but one boss. And it'll just be K. Rool. Outside of that, there's going to be a decent amount of glitches that are used in order to get to K. Rool early. And again, this will only work on the Nintendo Switch Online version. Technically it works on Wii U VC, but it requires a bit more knowledge in order to actually achieve. So, let's just talk about this version here. What you're going to want to do here is make sure you have at least one open file. It doesn't matter which file it is, just Game 1 is optimal. I'm sure if you've heard my other guides, you've heard this before. Game 1 is optimal because we will be re-entering the file a couple times, but otherwise it doesn't really matter, just use whatever. In the options, you will want story skip on, and Chimpy Cam, you can use whichever you want. I and most other community members prefer free. Free is generally better because you can make it behave like follow by pressing the R button. However, you can also avoid pressing the R button and use the C buttons to manually set an angle instead, which is why free is generally regarded as better. I guess the other option that I didn't talk about is normal or widescreen. I think widescreen looks like garbage, so I'm going to be using normal. It is up to you which to use. There is one instance of a widescreen only glitch that I can think of, but it was on PAL N64, as long as I am remembering that correctly. If there are any other widescreen related glitches in the NSO version, I will be posting it in a comment. Now, what are we going to need for this run? We are going to need to unlock the mystery menu, so you need 1 fairy, and then you actually need 2 fairies because we need access to Intro Story. And then you actually need 6 fairies because we need access to Rambi Arena or Jetpack or On Guard Arena or DK Arcade. Actually, that's a lie. It has to be Rambi Arena or On Guard Arena. Pardon me. If you don't want to unlock those, or you have the 10 fairy bosses menu open, you can also use any boss other than factory boss, and that will also work. Just don't use factory boss. So whatever you'd prefer. We just need something with a cutscene at the start in the mystery menu here that isn't in the DK Theater mode. The other thing that we're going to need is Kong Battle to be unlocked. We will be using Monkey Smash, not Battle Arena. Battle Arena only gives 1 gun to the Kong that you're playing as, and only if you've picked up an ammo crate. Battle Arena is horrible. Monkey Smash, however, will give all Kongs, all guns, as well as sniper scope and homing ammo access as well. You always want to use Monkey Smash, never ever use Battle Arena, unless you're going for some really crazy setup that requires it for some reason. I can't think of one that would, but I'm sure it exists. But unless you know better, use Monkey Smash. Anyways, In order to unlock the Kong Battle Arena, or Kong Battle mode, pardon me, you will need one Battle Crown from any file in the game. You can keep the file or delete the file, it really doesn't matter. Same with the fairies here, you can keep the file or delete the file, it doesn't matter. Once you've unlocked something, it will unlock on the game. Now, let's, sorry. You will also need a second player controller plugged in. Or in this case, connected. All you need access to on the second player controller is the ability to press start so that they can join Monkey Smash. That's it. You don't need it for anything else. I have popped out my Joy-Cons to serve as my second player controller here. And I am using a Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller as my main controller. Okay, I think that's everything that I have to talk about for the pre-setup here. When you're ready to begin the run, make sure to go into Options, turn on Story Skip, and then go into the Mystery menu, and we're going to go to Intro Story here. Now, with Intro Story, where did my timer go? Sorry, give me 1 second to look for my timer. It, like, disappeared somewhere on me. I think it's on my second screen, which is serving as my DK64 capture right now. Yeah, that's where it was. My bad, sorry. If I was a good YouTubist, I would edit that part out of the video, but I am not. So, what we're going to do is we're going to press A on Intro Story and also start the timer at the same time. At 2.1 on the timer, we will press A again, and that will take us out of Intro Story and back to the Mystery menu, except all of our audio, or well, our background music will be turned off. So check this out really quickly here. You hear how there's no background music now, it's just silent? You still have the sound effects, but all the background music is gone. That is how you know you got Intro Story glitch to activate properly. I'm going to turn this off because I've wasted too much time now. You cannot waste time while Intro Story glitch is active. It is very particular, and I will explain this more later. But for now, all you need to know is as soon as we activate it, we will be entering the file, and there are specific steps to follow. So I'm going to deactivate this by entering Intro Story and holding the A button when the screen fades fully black. That will cause the audio to come back. Intro Story glitch has been deactivated. Now, let's do this the right way. I'm going to activate Intro Story glitch and enter my file right after. Here we go. So Intro Story glitch is active. Back out to the menu, go to Adventure, choose your file, and enter your game. You'll hear that the audio, the background sound is still gone. This is good. We clear Squawks' text by mashing B, press pause, and quickly go to Quit Game. Mash A and Start to get through that part of the cutscene. And here, we hold A the entire time. I will tell you when to stop holding A, but for now, hold A and mash Start. We have to mash Start to get through the DK wrap. Continue holding A. We still mash Start to get through the DK TV. Still hold A. Once you are here, you can let go of A. Go into Adventure, look at your file's game stats, but do not enter it. Back out, go to Mystery menu. Use On Guard Arena or Rambi Arena in the Mystery menu, or one of the bosses that is not Mad Jack. You'll go in, it'll kick you out immediately. Back out, go to Kong Battle. Monkey Smash, remember, do not use Battle Arena, use Monkey Smash. Enter Monkey Smash, press Start on second player controller, and press A on the first player controller. It'll kick you back out to the results screen. You just leave out of there, go back to Mystery menu, go back to Intro Story on the Mystery menu, and like I said earlier, press A, and then when it fades to black, hold A, and that'll deactivate it. Now we go back into our file, and that's everything we needed for that part of the main menu there. What this did was it gave us Simeon Slam, and it gave us guns for every Kong, as well as Sniper Scope and homing ammo, which I can't show off at this moment. However, once you enter your game file, go and enter Cranky's Lab there, and that'll spawn the training barrels, and then, as usual, just go through do the training barrels, and I will talk about strategies for each of them. This may seem like I'm rushing a little bit compared to my other tutorials. This is because I've already done 2 where I talk about the most basic stuff. So I'm assuming that you've heard most of this before. I don't know. For the dive barrel, press Z and then hold up left and just hold A, swim right down to the coin. You'll see I missed it there. With good navigation, you can hit the coin every time and get a 55. Enter orange barrel here. We're going to go clockwise around. We're going to miss that orange, I guess. And then walk right against the tree, first person, and just spam oranges. By standing right next to the tree, you can have the oranges explode immediately because they explode whenever you are right near a wall and you throw them, and the tree serves as a wall. This helps us clear the goal right away. In this barrel, because we did funky weapons glitch at the start to get all the guns, you can pull out the gun here and shoot the barrels. Normally you're supposed to throw them, but you can just shoot them. Make sure you don't run out of ammo there. We do need actually, it's fine. If you do run out of ammo, it's okay. I'll show a place where you can pick some extras up. But try not to run out of ammo. In Vine Barrel, climb up to the top, and just swing across to the coin. That is all of the training barrels done now. Now we're going to wet escape. Well, I should show this. I've shown this in every tutorial. There's no reason for me not to show it in this one too. You could go down here, and you do have Simian Slams, so you could open this if you would like. That is reasonable. However, the cutscene is a little longer than we would like, and so instead we're going to go into the water here and perform wet escape. When in the water, look at this wall, dive, go into first person, and turn your camera slightly to the right. When you've done that, do not touch your control stick, but you can leave first person and just swim through the wall with A, and then tap slightly left on your controller, and you should hit the loading zone. That'll take you out to DK Isles. Okay, I'm pulling up my route here because I don't remember what I wrote to do. Okay. We're going to go to the left and climb right up to Aztec Lobby. I've been doing so many different things lately that I actually have just forgotten what route does what, and I kind of have to rely on my written notes now. Such is the curse of being busy, I suppose. It's all the usual to get up to Aztec Lobby here. Just swing across the vines. Tag Warp 2, this is very important. Now, we need to enter Aztec Lobby. The way we're going to do this is with a beaver skew. If you know how to phase walk to enter Aztec Lobby, then you probably aren't watching this. So, let's kick down here, land in the water, and we want to swim out here to where DK is just like at the edge of the slope? I don't know, whatever you want to call that. Edge of the beach, maybe? Maybe that's better. Nah, the beach is like the on-land part. Make up a word. Think of what makes sense to you. Anyways, when we're here, we're going to dive with Z, hold Z, and hold down on the control stick while holding Z. We're going to press A. We're going to let go of Z, and then press A. And when we hit the water's surface, we are going to immediately C up. You can also press C up right before you hit the water's surface, and that will be fine. So, like this, let go of Z, press A, and first person. Now, in first person, we want to look for this beaver. This beaver is going to help us get the skew, because of course this is beaver skew. We want to kind of roughly aim to where he is. His left outer bound is right around that tree, and his right outer bound is somewhere where the zinger is. So just kind of figure out where you want to go between those two. Try and navigate towards where he currently is. Anyways, what you're going to do here is you're going to press, in this order, C up, Z, and then tap mash B. It doesn't have to be a fast mash. Just like tap, 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 tap. This is called swim through shores. And it'll allow us to go and maintain our skewed angle from swimming up towards the surface in the water. So let's see if I can do this. I'm gonna press C up, then Z, and then mash B. And I screwed it up. Fantastic. Let's try that again. C up, Z, B. There we go. And we just are looking for the beaver to hit us. If it wasn't clear, rewind is going to be banned in NSO speedruns. The only reason I used it there is that this is a tutorial, and it really does not matter if I use it. Roll back to the warp ring and take warp 2. Now here, we are looking to go through the door. You might notice that DK has trouble trying to go through the door like this. So what you're going to do is once you get off the warp 2 pad, you're going to roll at the door. And DK should go through. If DK does not go through, this is the extra ammo by the way, if you ran out earlier, make sure you get that. If DK does not go through the door, then there's a very good chance that your skew is not good enough, and you have to go and try it again. The reason that your skew would not be good enough is probably because you spent too long on the surface of the water. Every frame that you spend on the surface of the water is another frame that DK spends going back to normal angle from the skewed angle. So you need to be very quick on the inputs to make sure that you maintain the proper skew angle there. Now, in Aztec Lobby, like I said earlier, there was ammo boxes there. Pick them up if you ran out earlier. And then just come up the stairs here. You're going to walk into this corner to the right of B locker, and then pivot DK away from the DK portal. Here, you're going to jump and then tap left or tap towards the DK portal, however your camera's facing it. So in this, jump, tap left. If you see DK on that black mark on the ground, he should be close enough. So from here, you're going to just spam the B button, again, light mash, and he should do his triple slap. When he does the triple slap, it roots him in place. And that means during this, you're going to turn him towards the DK portal, and with good aim, he should get himself past B locker and get pulled into the DK portal by the tips of his fingers. If monkeys have fingers. If this polygonal model has fingers. They're more like mitts if you ask me, but I mean, what do I know? In Aztec, we're just going to go through this opening hallway like normal. Try not to get hit. We will want whatever health we have for later. And watch the llama cutscene. Just get it out of the way here. Okay, now, we won't be coming back here. You can tag Warp 1 if you really want to, but we should not be coming back here. The only reason Warp 1 would be useful is if you end up dying prematurely here. So, you can tag it as a safety if you wish. Come over to the right side of Tiny Temple and into this corner. This is Guitar Skip. What we're going to be doing is backflipping with DK until he's in the corner and he slides very slightly to the left when he lands. I don't know how quickly I'll get this, but let's see. We want to just tap very slowly upwards here, because I see that DK is close but not quite in position. There, did you see that? DK slid just slightly to the left and then he went through the wall. Or sorry, he slid slightly through the left and then I was able to go through the wall, is what I was trying to say. That's what we're looking for here. I think that's actually in. Yeah, that time he didn't slide. That is a very rare occurrence and only happens if you are like, I don't want to say pixel perfect, but if you are very close to being perfectly in position, then you'll get the clip without the slide. This is kind of a precise trick. Again, he didn't slide very far to the left there. If you want to see more examples of guitar skip, you can check out my 5Kong tutorial where I also go over the trick. I'm not really sure if I said anything in this one or that one that I did not say in the other, but consider it if you're having trouble here. Once you are through the wall, you want to turn DK so that he's looking back the way he came in, and we're just going to roll back here. Try and stay like a little close to the wall, but put yourself at least a Lanky's arm from it. And then go past the stone door to go inbounds here. And we're just going to continue rolling past here, all the way down the hallway. Our only goal here is to free Lanky. So we're going to go all the way down. You can tag Warp 2 there if you're worried about dying, by the way. And then we're going to go up on the second level of Llama Temples outside. I don't know what to call these. Steps. I'll just call them steps. And then you walk around to the back. Here, you may want to practice this. You shouldn't have to. It's pretty easy. But what we're going to do is jump into the sand. It'll probably put us back on here. And then we jump into the sand again, and then roll into the wall. Roll into the slope that we are currently above. And DK should go through it. So, let's see. Right, land back up there. Jump back into the sand, turn around slowly, and then roll at the slope. And that should clip you in pretty much every time. That's a very easy clip. If you are not getting it, you might be starting your roll too close to the slope. If you are getting damaged before you are rolling at the slope, then you are too far from the slope. Try and adjust based on whatever is happening there. Once you enter Llama Temple, clear the Lanky text, and then just fall straight down here and break the watermelon crate. You want to be at full health for this, probably. And from here, you want to be looking at the wall with the dino head and the gate. It'll be the right side if you're looking like at the greater Llama Temple area there. Right, so right side here. What we're going to do is just swim through this wall anywhere on the wall. You can swim through the gate if you want. You can swim through the wall. It doesn't really matter. Just don't try to swim through the dino head. I don't think that that's going to score you any points. So, going to drop into the lava water, dive down, go into first person, look slightly right, and then hold A to swim through the wall without touching the control stick. When you get to here, jump out of the water before you die. Very important. Don't die there. If you are going to die, it's probably going to be there, so don't die. Make sure you practice that. From here, you just pull out your gun, shoot the switch, wait for Lanky's noise. You hear that ah? I'll let it play one more time. When you hear that ah noise, go to reset game. Whenever he makes that noise, that'll be when your game autosaves. Pretty close to it. Now that we have reset the game, we're going to hold A, mash start to get past the DK wrap and past the DK TV here. And then we're going to go back into options, scroll right once to turn on story skip, and then re-enter our file. From here, we're going to go to the back of K-Lumsey's cage. And over here, we're going to do the Grape Switch Moon Kick. You're going to try and interrupt your aerial attack with a kick when you land on the top of the Grape Switch here. And it'll achieve you a moon kick like this, right? With that moon kick, you want to, you want to hold roughly down left because our goal is to land on this ramp here. This will take some getting used to. I like to do a full jump and then wait for a little bit of time and then hold up towards the switch and mash B. And with good timing, you'll end up with the moon kick. That will take some practice. It is one of the most important tricks in this run though, so, so make sure you practice that. You can do a very similar moon kick off of the pipe here. This one is much easier. It's pretty free. Just make sure you don't moon kick into the zinger. And you can jump out of your moon kick to land further up the ramp. Roll up here, and make sure to tag warp 4. This is very important. We need this warp for later. Now, this is going to suck. I will show you a couple different ways here. The easy, quote-unquote easy way, is also the more frustrating way, because we are on NSO. You want to activate the B-Locker text with Lanky, like tag Lanky at the tag barrel, then activate the B-Locker text, and we're just going to long jump at B-Locker until, well, long jump and then triple attack with Lanky until he's able to punch right through. That spot where I was standing on B-Locker there, on his right-hand side, you can see it kind of right there, right at the 5. I find anywhere around the 5 to be the most successful. That being said, I do not think that it is usually successful. I got very lucky there, and I want you to know that. It may take you minutes to get in. It may just be that quick. Maybe you find something that I don't even know about. Who knows? But yeah, that is one way to get in here. Now, the other way you can get in here, I will leave, and actually, before I regret that, let's just make a suspend point there so that I do not end up regretting that too badly. The other thing you could do here, assuming that you're not going to phase walk, is you could stay as DK, and you can get on top of this question mark box. Now, I do not recommend this if you are a beginner. If you are somebody that has done edge kicks before, then maybe you could get away with this. But this is kind of difficult. What we're going to do is, you can choose to have the camera like this if you want. I prefer to have it like this instead, but use whatever's more comfortable for you. We're going to jump off the box. So like jump and hold down, and then we're going to swap to holding up to go back to the box. And we want to aerial and, well, we want to mash B, so that we aerial and we interrupt the aerial with landing on the top of the box with a kick. And that'll give us a moon kick. We call these edge kicks when you're standing on top of something that you're going to get a moon kick off of. Like that. You're going to navigate to this one. I don't even know what to call this. This is like the vent on the right side. Look, I'll show it. The right side of the entrance. We want to land specifically on this vent. Pull up on the right-hand side with DK, and this is going to take practice. Do not be surprised if you don't get this first try. Here, you're going to slowly move forward and go into first person. What happens here is DK is going to eventually fall off of the vent, hopefully in first person. If you are not in first person, then you have to do the moon kick again. But you can fall off the vent in first person, leave first person, and hold forward, and DK should go through the wall. Like that. That is called a phase fall. It is essentially the same trick as the phase swim that we did to wet escape from training grounds earlier, and also to phase swim into Lanky's area of the Llama Temple, except instead of being in the water, you are in the air. That also works. So anyways, you could do that if you really want. And then when you're out of bounds here, you have to go to like the back of the tunnel, and then kick into the portal. I don't care which method you choose. Either work fine. I think the moon kick's a little tough to recommend to a beginner, but if you happen to be good at the timing, by all means, I'm not going to stop you. Now, just 1 second, I need to plug in my headset because it is getting mad that it is almost out of power. Okay. So I made a save state earlier with Lanky. I will also make one with DK here. I hope that wasn't important. It probably wasn't. We need to tag Warp 1. Sorry, this is very important. Tag Warp 1. We need Warp 1 in this route in particular. And then we're going to come over here and lure the robots over into the corner. What we're going to do is called Robot Push, where by having a robot close enough to us and him doing the lunging attack, he's supposed to push us through the wall, like that. Essentially, it creates such a small space that DK's model doesn't fit there anymore. This also works with Lanky, and I will show that as well. But it creates such a small space there that your Kong won't fit there anymore, and they'll get pushed through the wall. From here, oh my god, from here you can just, oh stop it camera. From here, you can hold forward, and when DK reappears, you want to head towards that drop. If you go too far to the right, you'll fall into Dark Room, which is really bad. You don't want to do that. As long as... oh, nice. Nice. I'm on top of the chunky cage. This is not where we want to be, but you could be here if you really want to be. Anyways, when you enter here, if you are DK, you need to tag to Lanky. And then you come over here to the pipe. Now, I'll explain the pipe in a moment, but first, I'm going to load my Lanky save state. I'm going to tag Warp 1 with Lanky, because again, this is important. We have to tag this Warp 1 in this route. I don't care who you entered with, we do need to tag Warp 1 there. And we're going to do the same thing, Robot Push with Lanky by luring them into the corner. Oh, please. I think this is a little bit more difficult with Lanky because he has a smaller hitbox, but it could just be my luck that sucks. It's very possible. Come on. Come on, robot. This is the major problem with Robot Push. Sometimes they'll just stand there, refuse to look at you, and then you won't be able to get through the wall. And then you'll end up running out of health, and you'll die like that. So, this does happen. It's not a Lanky-only thing. This also happens with DK. The other thing you can do is just slam the switch, it'll open the hatch, and you can walk down normally. I'm not going to show that because I am certain that you did that in your casual playthrough. Okay, there we go. As you can see, Lanky can do Robot Push. I was just getting super unlucky there. So, when you get through the wall, if you have the camera like this where you can't see anything except the tag barrel stars, go towards the lower tag barrel star, and then Lanky will load. It doesn't really matter too much, right? Yeah, if you see those two together, you can just head towards them until Lanky loads, and then when Lanky loads, you'll be underneath this this hallway here. Head straight down the hallway towards that drop, like we did earlier with DK. And that'll be the hallway. It's fine to take fall damage as long as you don't die. I'm sure that's obvious. Anyways, once you are down here with Lanky, we're going to backflip up here, and we're going to climb the pipe using slope resets. So first you're going to hold Z and backflip and hold forward up the pipe. Every time Lanky starts slipping backwards, press A. Just be patient. If you go too quickly, Lanky will fall back down the pipe. If you go too slowly, Lanky won't really make any progress. Just try to be patient, you'll learn the rhythm. From here, you don't have to tag Warp 1, because we're going to be using it. I just happened to fall on Warp 1. So now we're going to tag Chunky at that tag barrel, and take Warp 1. This is why we tagged it at the very start. If you forgot to tag this Warp 1, you can always tag Chunky down there in storage room, and then exit level and re-enter. But try to remember to tag that Warp 1. It's a very good habit to get into. Here, you want to go near the hatch, grab 3 out of 5 of the banana coins. and then go back the way you came, and you want to take warp 1 back down, and you get the remaining banana coins around warp 1. Here, whoops, not DK, my bad. You want to go back to the tag barrel, tag Lanky. Do not get the golden banana. You know what? Hang on, there's one other thing I can do here. After you take warp 1 down and you get the banana coins, you could just go over here. If you're afraid of accidentally picking up the golden banana because you think, like, if you see a collectible you have to grab it, then do this instead. Go from warp 1 over to here, enter Trophenscough. We do have to enter Trophenscough regardless. And then tag Lanky in Trophenscough. And then we just leave. We have to enter Trophenscough in order to clear that first time cutscene. And then once you leave, or yeah, once you have left Trophenscough, just go over here and climb the boxes with Lanky. You need all 3 banana coins. And that's the wrong way. And we're going to go over to Candy. In Candy's music shop, what we're going to do is just buy the trombone. That's all we have the coins for, but we came here to buy the trombone because it is mandatory in order to beat the K. Rool fight. At least until we find a way to skip phases, but I don't think that that's going to happen anytime soon. I could be wrong, but at the very moment, we do not have a way to skip that. So you go in there, buy trombone, exit, tag Chunky, and then enter Cranky. Here you're going to be given Simian Slam. And then after we get Simian Slam, we're going to get kicked out of here. And then we go back in. Here we're going to buy both moves. That's Hunky Chunky, and this will be Primate Punch. Now, when this cutscene begins, I'll just rewind a little bit here. Okay, so when this cutscene begins, like literally as soon as that, you can reset the game. You don't have to watch Primate Punch get bought. You just have to start that cutscene. It'll save the move to your game, and then you can reset. Now, here is the easiest part of the run. Quite literally, you make very few inputs in this section. You're going to go over to Mystery Menu, and you're going to go to Intro Story again. Remember how I brought up 2.1 seconds earlier? We're going to do that again. So, make sure you have a split if you are using splits. You should be using splits for this, because you're going to need to start the timer at least twice. So make sure you have a split for Intro Story Glitch 2. Press A and start the split at the same time, like so. And 2.1, press A again. We do not need story skip on here, but you do need to re-enter your file. And then as DK, you're going to warp 4 up, and then crouch slide off the ledge down left. That'll land you here near Snide's area. We're going to enter there, and we're going to stand outside until about 55 seconds on the timer. Now, you can enter later, or you could enter earlier, but do not do much else during this time. If you enter the tag barrel after 50 seconds, you might fail this. Same with the bonus barrel, same with like millions of other things. I'm going to enter Snides a little early here, and watch this. The screen will fade out, and then we'll be watching the intro story cutscene. This is all we wanted to achieve. So as long as you enter Snides there at 55 seconds or any time after it, that's all we need. Now, we are not going to be doing anything until the end of intro story here. We're just going to watch this play out for a while. So, let me explain a little bit of what's happening while this is going on. When you activate intro story glitch, intro story, the timings for intro story and the fade outs that occur will be running in the background, no matter what you are doing. When you enter a cutscene and you have passed or reached a fade out timing, which is like 55 seconds, 1 minute and 25-ish seconds, 2 minutes and 35-ish seconds, 3 minutes and 1 second, or 3 minutes flat, somewhere around there, or 3 minutes and 26 seconds. I think it's 3:25 on NSO. Or 4:25, right? So 4 minutes and 25 seconds. Each of those timings have a fade out attached to them. If you reach one of those times and you enter a cutscene or are currently in a cutscene or whatever is treated as a cutscene, you will be pulled into the intro story. This is what we did here. When you enter Snides, you have a little walk-in and talking, a little bit of a yap session with Snide. That is all treated as a cutscene. So we intentionally took that cutscene, and it has to be in Snides, and I'll explain that too, to get pulled into intro story here. The reason it has to be Snides is that Snides is a sub-map. What I mean by that is, although you see a Snides in every level of the game except for Helm, all Snides are just a singular map. All that matters is that when you enter Snides, it takes note of what the parent map was, in this case, Isles, when you enter Snides. So it says, okay, your parent map is currently Isles right now. So the next time that you do something like enter a sub-area, it's going to treat it as if it is the sub-area of Isles. What this means for us is we are going to save this, I guess it's close to like a parent map storage. We call this flashback warp, but like in layman's terms, it would be like storing the parent map. And we are going to enter a Trophonskoff, which is also a submap. By doing that, it will put us in the Isles, because that's our parent map, submap of Trophonskoff. What this will do is put us in the boss room for Isles, which leads to K. Rool. This crashes on Nintendo 64. This has very weird collision and geometry on the Wii U version, but on NSO, it works flawlessly. So, once you reach the end of intro story here, clear Squawks' text, leave DK's treehouse, and leave training grounds. We're just going to go out this way this time. You'll see that this gate is open. The reason for that is that we entered the tag barrel with DK, and this switch is pressed depending on if DK is freed. You can free Kongs either organically by doing what we did with Lanky and Chunky, where we shot the switch that frees Lanky, or slammed the switch that frees Chunky, or you could just enter the tag barrel with them. Because we wet escaped with DK and entered the tag barrel with him, it counted DK as freed, and thus the switch is pressed. So you can just dry escape this time. Now, you have a choice to make here. This isn't a very big choice, but you do have a choice to make. So, the standard route would do this. You take Warp 4 up, and re-enter Factory Lobby. and you tag Lanky. And you know where we're going with this. You can go to do factory early again. Which means that you have to deal with this trick. Again. Twice in one run. Which is not great, I admit that. But the regular fastest route would do this. However, there is an alternative that I'll show after I get this. So after you enter factory early, you take Warp 1 down, and go over to the left here, to that Trough and Scoff portal we entered earlier. Here we're going to tag DK. And you'll see the door is wide open. The reason we tag DK is it is DK's boss, technically. So you enter the walk area there, and there's the K. Rool fight. Now, I'm going to make a save state over slot 2 here, and then I'm going to load slot 1, because I said I would show you an alternative. If you don't want to deal with factory early twice, here's your better alternative. We're going to instead go down here. Now, I haven't actually tested this. I'm kind of just banking on this working and there not being any sort of weird thing that happens here. If there is a weird thing that happens, then I'm going to cut this part out of the video, because there's no point in showing you something that doesn't work. But anyways, I'm really hoping that this works properly. So you can do a B-locker skip on the right side of B-locker there. I don't have story skip on. Yeah. Okay, well, if you do this, this is a really good reminder. If you go to do this and go to Galleon, you should turn on story skip. I completely forgot about that, and so I'm going to write that in the notes. Okay, note, or no, I'm gonna write important in the route. If you are choosing to go to Galleon, Trough and Scoff later on, you must turn on story skip. Okay. So, let's see if this works even without the story skip being on, because frankly, I have no idea. Every time I've done this, I just go to factory. But like, this with story skip on should only be about 30 seconds slower, but it is consistent as long as this works like I think it does. We just go up here, take the cannon up, take the vines across, and enter the Trough and Scoff. Yeah, it works, thank goodness. So once you enter the Trough and Scoff here, you're already DK. So you can just enter the door. So, either of those works, but remember that if you're going to Galleon, turn story skip on, unlike me. Though if you really, really enjoy the Galleon intro, I guess, like, you can. Anyways, I don't think there's any real reason to go and load that save state. So, what we do is clear the text here. We're just mashing B to clear the text, nothing special. And we continue mashing text. There's like 72 seconds of cutscene here or something. Okay. Now that we are past most of the cutscene, we get to actually play the game. What we're going to do for DK's phase here is climb the pole right behind us and just wait near the top. It's better to unlock your camera here by pressing R, but I don't expect you to. On Wii U and NSO, it doesn't matter much. When the third shockwave, let me back up there to show that so I'm not yapping over it. When the third shockwave touches the pole, hold up, and that should get you in the barrel. After 4 punches, which is right away, you just shoot. Go over to the left. I don't think it actually matters which direction you go. We go on 5 punches here, right there. And again to the left. And we go on 3 punches now. And again to the left. We just circle all the way around the ring. And we go 7 here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's DK phase. Very simple, there's not a whole lot to say about it. Again, most of the stuff I say here is going to be exactly the same as I have said in the 5Kong and NLE tutorials. However, there is differences in the Diddy and Tiny phase. I'm going to intentionally do something here that fails this so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay? So we're like, okay, whoop, I got hit. It's the rocket barrel. Wait, we don't have rocket barrel. What do you do now? Oh no. You cannot enter the rocket barrel ever. You have to leave the fight at this point. So, what I'm going to... Oh, hang on. Before I do that, let me rewind. Yeah, sorry, just give me 1 second here so I can create a save state that I can go back to. Okay, so, again, let's say you do not get in the rocket barrel. You have to pause, exit, leave the fight. If you do this, it'll spawn you out here. In this scenario, you have to go back to either Factory or Galleon, whatever it is you chose before. You don't have to enter the same one, it doesn't really matter. But like, if you chose Factory before, chances are you'll just go back to Factory. If you chose Galleon before, chances are you'll just go back to Galleon. Right, so whatever you want. I'm not going to show you both here, but I will just go into Galleon so that I don't have to bore you with like a 3rd or a 4th Factory early. So again, in Galleon lobby, we're just jumping up here to the right side of B-Locker, face DK away, and jump toward B-Locker, and then triple slap and turn DK towards the DK portal. And you'll see that we had a very weird fade in there. This was because we left the level irregularly, as far as I'm aware, that's why. And we just go right back to the Trophenscoff. I don't know how many times you can do this, so try not to have that happen more than the once. This will take you right back into DK phase, though. And then you'll just have to play it out regularly. Does it? I don't think it messes up the phases, right? Like, it's still round 1. It should just say round 1. I just want to see that. Okay, yeah, so you don't lose a round or anything like that. That's good. Anyways, I'm going to reload my save state that I made in Diddy phase before the rocket barrel spawned. This is what you're supposed to do. When he throws the first glove, long jump into him, stand on the top of the little eye, and backflip. You get in the rocket barrel early every time like that. It's not too bad. However, is there anything else that I can show timing-wise? Backflip when he catches his glove on the second throw. That's what you're looking for. Sorry, a lot of these things are just like so ingrained in my mind that I don't even look for the timing. So I have to like consciously go and look for the timing to explain it to others. All we're going to do here is fly up near the lights, use Z to hover near them when you're at a respectable height, and then just try and shoot both targets. If you are close enough to the light, Diddy will be able to poke his gun slightly through and shoot the target on the other side, like this, and then you can just turn to shoot the close one. I will back up here and do that one more time for you. Okay, so in the rocket barrel, fly up, and then if you are having trouble shooting both from one side, right, like you can get this one on this side, but you can't shoot the other one. Oh, well, I didn't imagine I would have to explain that. What just happened was that was a quick walk. Those do not happen very often at all. If you get a quick walk, he just begins walking while the light falls on his head, which is a little bit faster than he would move normally, which means he's going to be at the next light before you are likely in position. So you're just going to have to try again to get in position and catch up to him. However, what was I saying before? It was, if you are having trouble shooting both targets from one side, then you can just try and shoot the one, and some players choose to damage boost using the glove and move around to the other side with it. And that's also a very viable strategy. All I can tell you is that the Z button will help you a lot in this phase. Diddy's phase is absolutely meant to use the Z button. Right, if you take damage, it's fine. You do have 2 melons because of buying trombone, but try to be careful with your health. Right, and again, if you take damage, it's perfectly fine. You can shoot the one, take damage, and then use the invincibility frames to position yourself for the other target. You have 7 hits that you can take before you die, though I guess it's really 6 because you long jump into him at the start of Diddy phase. So just play smart. For Lanky phase, you're going to move Lanky between the red and yellow corners here. If you want, you can lock your camera. I'll do it just to show where he's moving. I don't like to lock my camera here, but it might be better for you if you do. Punch the button that just spawned. We're going to throw up right towards the yellow corner. And if the banana lands on the pad here, like you see here, it will protect you. You'll still take damage afterwards, but you're dealing damage to him first. And then you just take damage from him after. Move between yellow and blue and punch the next one. Throw it towards blue corner, and then beat K. Rool here and play your instrument. Again, if you throw it on the pad, the banana will protect you. You just want to throw things close to the pads, basically. Go between blue and green, pick up the barrel, throw it back towards blue corner. If you're fast enough, you can get it. You can hit him there. Otherwise, wait for him to go over to yellow and turn, and then play your instrument. And again, he'll hit the banana. And again, if you throw it on the pad, it'll protect you from him, no matter where he is. Then you go between green and red, and throw this one in the center. Go back to blue corner, because it's the only pad left, wait for him to be on the opposite side of the banana, and play the trombone. Now, the only other thing I want to show here, and I've shown this in both my other tutorials, there's no reason for me not to show it off here. Let's say you pick this up, right? And then, let's say you pick it up, but he's at a bad point in the cycle, and he hits you. All you can do in this case is wait on the pad for him to cross right near it. You see where he is now? Where he's like, he's got a foot on the banana? That's what you're waiting for. When he does this, quickly play your instrument and hope that his foot touches the banana enough for him to slip. Like that. We only have 2 phases of the fight left. The start of Tiny Phase here, this cutscene is pretty long. But all we can do is wait it out. Skipping Tiny Phase in general would be a very, very nice skip to find for this game, but no leads on that. At least no leads that work without some extreme situations. What we're going to do here, just like DK Phase, climb the pole that you start at. And that's it. He's going to slam twice, and then he'll do youch. And then he'll do, yeah, look at me, blah, blah, blah. Now he'll do 2 more slams. This is very important. After that first slam in the second set, you need to move to the center because the mini monkey barrel spawns and it has the exact same deal as the rocket barrel. However, if you miss the mini monkey barrel, it is not game over. You do not have to pause exit. It's okay. You can wait for it to come back. However, I'm not going to do that at this minute. Actually, yeah, I will. Yeah, I will. Why not? So you would just wait for him to do another 2 slams. So that's 1, that's 2. If you are not close enough, then the mini monkey barrel becomes unusable again. So now I'm going to go back. Now that I've showed that. Okay, so this is after his first 2 slams where he's like, yeah, look at me. What I'm going to do is stand down here. We need to be underneath the small eye and backflip. I'm going to show a couple different ways to get in there. Backflip before the shockwaves reach you, and you should be able to get in. Or kick slide, jump aerial. You can get in. I don't recommend that, but you can do it. Otherwise, if you have already taken damage, you can do a backflip and then start a simian slam in the air there. I don't know if that showed very well. Like this, and that'll prolong your descent just a little bit. Any of those will work. Do what's best for you. In here, we're going to stand at 2. 1, 2, what? 2. What the heck was that? Hang on. Sorry, I don't know what that was. I don't know why he didn't attack there. 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. Yeah, why didn't he attack? Well, I got that on video. That's neat. In the toe phases, we attack toe 1 on phase 1, toe 2 on phase 2, toe 3 on phase 3, toe 4 on phase 4. Again, you want to avoid the final shockwave. Usually the barrel spawns when the shockwave passes you. This is 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. Shoot the second toe. Next is 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, and shoot the second toe. And again, back to here. He'll do, I think, 4 slams this time. That's 2. That's 3. All you have to do is avoid the shockwave coming at you. As long as you do that and you are in the air, roughly beneath the eye, then you should be okay. Sorry, I didn't say where I was going. 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. Shoot the third toe. Back to 2. 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Shoot the third toe. Back to 4 this time. 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Shoot the third toe. And then again, up on the pole. This time he will do slam, slam, move, slam, slam, move, 1 slam. So after this second set of 2 slams, go down, and enter the mini monkey barrel. Two, three, four, three, four, shoot the fourth toe. Back to two. Two, three, three, four, four, shoot the fourth toe. Stay at four. Four, three, four, three, four, shoot the fourth toe. Back to two. Two, three, three, four, four, shoot the fourth toe. So, I know that that looks confusing and like that's a lot of positions to go and learn. However, the toes only attack in two different patterns. It's pretty simple to remember those two different patterns and then just move according to where you know is open. Chunky phase, the final phase of the fight here. What we're going to do is we're going to just use the red corner over and over again. The first one doesn't matter. You could go to anywhere. I think I went to green in the 5-Kong and the NLE tutorial, so let's change it up. I'm going to slam this and head over to red this time. And then wait for him to pass here, and then backflip into the barrel. Here, we're going to wait for him to cross the eyes, and then punch. Then slam the switch in the middle, and go back to red corner. Every single time we are going back to red corner here. This one is right before the eyes. Punch. When I say the eyes, I am talking about the eyes on the mat on the ground. Sorry, I hope that was clear, but if it wasn't, I hope it is now. Back to red, and back in the hunky chunky. As soon as he moves, that one, all you can do is watch for the shadow. As soon as the shadow moves, punch. And one more time. However, this time we wait. He always crosses in front of us there, as long as you haven't gotten hit. Now here he's going to go right, left, right, left. When he crosses middle on the second right, here. That's when you punch. Or crosses middle after the second right. Pardon me, that's what I meant. But that's it. K. Rool is now down. So, I think that that's everything I had to say for this. This is definitely going to be the quickest tutorial that I've put out so far, only because there's not that much to do in this. I don't particularly think that this should be the first category that you learn. I think that you should probably start with any percent 5-Kong if you're looking at a very short run, or like sub-hour run, that you just want to practice movement on. If you are looking for something a little longer than that, start with NLE. Those two will get you way more knowledge in this game than this run will. Most of the things in this run are extremely niche and only affect this run. That being said, the Beaver Skew is useful, and Factory Early with Lanky and DK is also useful. Beyond that, though, you really don't learn anything else in this run that is applicable to anything else. And both of those, Beaver Skew and Factory Early, as DK and Lanky, are doable in the 5-Kong any percent route. So just please be aware of that. If all you are doing is trying to run the new hot category that everybody is on about, new hot category in your area, then run this. I don't care. Up to you. But if you intend to stick with the game and you want to learn more about the game, about movement, about actual glitches and tech that is relevant to other categories and not just the category that you would learn them in, please start with 5 Kong or NLE. But again, I can't make you do anything. And with that, we are at the credits. So, in my other 2 runs, what I did in the credits was I went and talked about who I learned from. And specifically for NLE, I talked about how I had to reroute the NLE beginner route because the old one was like 11 years old and super out of date. This category is quite literally brand new because you could not do this on Nintendo 64 or Wii U VC. Because of that, there has been a lot of interest in this category recently. There's been at least a handful of people that have done runs of it and posted their PBs in the Personal Bests channel. If you are looking to jump in on that, by all means. Yeah, I think it's like a fine category to learn, but realistically, if you can do any percent 5 Kong, you can do this. There really isn't that much different. There are harder ways that you can go and run this, where you do stuff during the ISG timer instead of just going into Snides right away, but that's not really a topic for this video because that is far more advanced than I intend to teach to beginners. What else is there to really say? I should thank a couple people. Yeah, let me find something really quickly here. I need to thank Adelaine64DS and Mr. Cheese for the idea for the category. We kind of already had thought about it, but the 2 of them like actually routed the category originally and got runs in. And I think that because of that, it took off. So I need to thank them, because without them, this tutorial would not exist. Beyond that, the entire community honestly gets thanks for going and testing on the NSO version. I believe Adam Whitmore was the one who first found that K. Rool early worked on NSO without any weird collision or other glitches, geometry glitches that would hinder you. And so thank you to Adam for that. And then beyond that, it's just kind of thank you to you for watching this tutorial, and presumably my other tutorials if you are interested in learning more about DK64. I have a couple other ideas that I want to make tutorials about. If you have anything in particular that you would like to see a tutorial on, let me know in the comments. Because I am aiming these specifically at beginners, I will not talk about spawn snags. I will not talk about phase walks. I want to make that very clear right off the bat here. I do not believe that those are beginner level tricks, and so I will not be discussing those in these tutorials. But beyond that, if you want to learn anything, let me know. I've received a couple of suggestions from the community about maybe doing 101 videos, because there's no way I could sit down and do a 101 video in one take. That's like gonna be 10 hours. That would be insane. So I might do a series of 101 videos breaking down each level. Another one that I might do is how to unlock everything on your game, which is basically fairies, crowns, stuff like that. So I might do that. Beyond that, if you can think of anything else, let me know. I'm mostly open to other ideas. Oh, not glitchless. I don't need to talk about glitchless because what you see is what you get. Okay. And now that's everything that I've wanted to say. So thank you very much for hanging around and watching the tutorial, and I will catch you another time, hopefully. If you need help, you can let me know in the DK Speedrun Discord, or in my own Discord. Yeah, or you can talk to me in the comments, or my Blue Sky. It'll all be linked in the description of the video. And if I didn't say it earlier, the route for this run will also be in the video description. So please look there and let me know if you need anything else. Thank you very much. Take care. Have a great day or evening or whatever it is wherever you are. Later.